The sun of Erebos Prime shone pale over the glass towers of the capital city. It was a quiet morning, but tension filled the air. The people of the planet went about their lives as if nothing unusual was happening. Yet in the great chamber of the Galactic Empire, everything was about to change. This chamber had been the center of diplomacy for centuries, and today, humans and aliens were gathered to renew a treaty that had kept peace for 900 years. On Earth, humans often told stories about their strength and their past. Some said humans were fragile, others said they were clever and unyielding. Today, both sides were reminded why humans had survived wars and disasters that no other species had survived. General Laura Kane walked into the chamber. She was the only human ever invited to serve as a high envoy and general in the Galactic Empire's diplomatic circles. Her uniform was neat, her medals gleamed softly, and her eyes showed calm determination. Every alien present knew her reputation. She was a woman of honor, brave and careful. Next to her walked Captain Ethan Cole, a loyal aide who had served under her for years. He watched her carefully. Laura had a calm presence, but he could sense the tension in her movements. The room was full of alien delegates, each species more strange and intimidating than the last. Some were tall and reptilian, some small and insect-like, and others had shapes humans could not even name. Yet all eyes turned to Laura as she approached the podium. The Galactic Council had been formed nearly 1,000 years ago, after long wars between humans and the Empire. That war had been devastating. Planets were destroyed, fleets were lost, and millions of lives ended. The humans had survived, though, through courage, strategy, and their strange, stubborn will. The treaty they were renewing today had been the result of those sacrifices. 9 centuries of peace hung in the balance. Laura's voice was steady as she addressed the chamber. "We are here to honor a treaty that has kept billions safe," she said. "We must remember that peace is not given. It is earned every day through respect and trust." Some of the alien delegates nodded. Others looked away, whispering in their languages. Laura had allies, but she also had enemies. Some did not want peace at all. They wanted to see humans fail, to see the Empire rise again in power. But Laura had always known how to walk through danger. Suddenly, the chamber shook. A loud explosion ripped through the hall. Smoke filled the air, alarms rang, and lights flickered. Delegates screamed and ran in every direction. Captain Ethan Cole grabbed Laura's arm and pulled her down behind a security barrier. "Stay low," he shouted. "We don't know what's happening." Laura's eyes scanned the room. Flames burned near the communication consoles. Some aliens had fallen and others were frozen in fear. Then Ethan saw the figure of an Empire soldier move through the smoke. He had a blaster raised. Before anyone could react, a shot rang out. It hit Laura in the chest. She staggered, and Ethan caught her before she fell. Blood seeped through her uniform. Her face was pale, but her eyes burned with fire. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "Don't let them bury the truth. Remember this. Humans never forgive betrayal." Ethan felt panic. He pressed his hand against her wound, trying to stop the bleeding. "No, General. Stay with me." "You can't leave now." Laura shook her head. Her strength was fading, but her mind was sharp. "The treaty, they have killed peace. The galaxy, we'll remember," she said. Then her hand fell limp in his grasp. The Empire quickly claimed it was an accident. They said the soldier had lost control and fired randomly. Cameras in the chamber were damaged in the explosion, leaving few witnesses. Most delegates accepted the explanation, though whispers of doubt filled the air. Humans, however, saw the truth immediately. Across the galaxy, ships in orbit of Earth remained silent. No one expected immediate retaliation, but humans were watching. They had survived countless betrayals in history, and their patience was long but not endless. Captain Ethan Cole carried Laura's body to the ship's medical bay. Doctors worked frantically, but her injury was too severe. The general had fallen in service of peace. Her death was a message, though few yet understood it. In the weeks that followed, Earth went silent. Communications from the Empire were ignored. Messages demanding explanation were met with silence. People across human worlds prepared quietly. They were not panicked, but they were alert. Every fleet was on standby. Every defense system was checked. In the Imperial Senate, alien leaders debated what to do next. Many feared humans would strike immediately. Others argued that humans were weak, that 9 centuries of peace had made them complacent. Admiral Korak, a reptilian with gray scales and sharp eyes, warned the council. "Do not underestimate them," he said. Humans may forgive, but they never forget. This act, it will have consequences, but most ignored him. They believed humanity's expansion had slowed, that they had grown soft. They did not understand human will. Meanwhile, Captain Ethan Cole discovered something alarming. While studying the encrypted files of the Human Council, he realized that humans were not calling for diplomacy. They were beginning evacuation plans. Every human outpost in alien space, every colony, every fleet was being recalled to Earth. The Council is preparing for something. Ethan muttered to himself. He could feel the weight of the moment. They are not weak. They are planning. Far beyond the Empire, in the dark edges of space, old defense structures began to hum to life. These were systems humans had built long ago, after wars that threatened the galaxy. They had been silent for centuries, forgotten by most. But they were not gone. And now they were waking. The humans on these stations activated weapons, shields, and communication networks. They were careful, precise, and patient. They did not move to attack yet. They waited for the right moment. They waited because humans knew something their enemies did not. Patience could be as deadly as fury. Back on Erebos Prime, life continued in fragile normality. Citizens went to work, markets bustled, and the sky traffic moved as usual. Few noticed the tremors in the Empire, the silent preparations in human space. But those who knew history, like Captain Ethan Cole, watched and waited. He remembered General Laura Kane's last words. Humans never forgive betrayal. They echoed in his mind like a warning bell. And now he understood. The galaxy had been given a choice, and it had chosen poorly. On Earth, the Human Council met in secret. They discussed strategy, consequences, and timing. Every human in leadership knew the cost of acting too soon or too late. They remembered the wars of the past and the peace that had lasted centuries. They also remembered their general who had fallen for the cause of keeping peace. Yet her death had changed everything. Her sacrifice had shattered complacency. Humans now knew they could no longer trust the Empire. They would not fight to restore peace. They would fight to show the galaxy what happens when humans are betrayed. Captain Ethan Cole returned to his quarters, looking at the stars. Somewhere in the distance, alien worlds were bustling, unaware of what was coming. Humans were gone from their outposts, gathering strength at home, preparing in silence. The galaxy thought it had seen human weakness. It was about to see something else entirely. General, Ethan whispered to the empty room. They will remember you. They will understand. For the first time, he felt the weight of the coming storm. He did not know how long it would take. It could be years or decades. But humans had patience, and when they moved, it would be unstoppable. The chamber where Laura Kane had fallen was rebuilt quickly. Cameras and security systems were restored. Yet her death was recorded in memory, not just on video. Aliens remembered the way a human had been struck down in public, and humans remembered the betrayal. Across the galaxy, nothing would ever be the same. In her office, General Kane's desk remained empty. Her uniform was folded neatly, medals polished. Captain Ethan Cole looked at it daily, silently promising to honor her memory. He did not know the details yet, but he knew the humans would respond. History had shown that when humans were wronged, they could be patient, clever, and ruthless when necessary. As the sun set over Erebos Prime, a quiet shadow passed over the capital. Life continued as usual, but beneath it, forces were gathering. Across thousands of light years, humans were preparing. Their fleets, hidden stations, and ancient weapons would not strike immediately. They were waiting for the perfect moment, and the moment would come. Weeks passed after the attack in the Galactic Council chamber. Erebos Prime seemed calm on the surface. Its citizens walked the streets, and traders moved between the towers as usual. But beneath the calm, tension was thick. The Empire's leaders whispered behind closed doors. Some feared humans would retaliate. Others believed humanity had grown weak. They did not understand the patience and resolve of the human race. Captain Ethan Cole moved quietly through the halls of the rebuilt council chamber. Every corner, every corridor, reminded him of what had happened. General Laura Kane had died there, and the memory of her courage and calm strength was everywhere. He could still see her in his mind, standing at the podium, speaking about peace. And then the explosion, the blaster shot, and the chaos that followed. Ethan spent his days studying communications and encrypted files. He wanted to understand what humans were planning, and he wanted to know if Earth would respond. What he discovered was shocking. Humans were not preparing to fight immediately. They were gathering. They were evacuating outposts and recalling fleets. Every human in alien-controlled space was ordered back to Earth. The Council is not preparing for diplomacy, Ethan said aloud in his quarters. They are preparing for something else, something big. Far away in the darkest reaches of the galaxy, old human systems began to awaken. These were stations, weapons platforms, and ships built centuries ago for wars that most civilizations thought were long forgotten. Their engines, powered up, shields activated, and communication arrays hummed to life. These defenses were silent for hundreds of years. No one had touched them, and few even remembered their location. The humans had left them that way on purpose. History had taught them to be cautious. They had learned the hard way that empires rise and fall, and that power could be used to betray peace. Now those old systems were ready. They were waiting for the order to strike. In the Empire, debate continued. Alien senators argued about what to do next. Admiral Korak, the reptilian strategist, spoke with urgency. We cannot wait. Humans may seem passive, but they are calculating. They remember every wrong. You have underestimated them for centuries. Do not make the mistake of underestimating them now. Some senators laughed. They are humans, one said. They are small and weak. 9 centuries of peace have made them complacent. They will not act. But Korak was not laughing. His sharp eyes scanned the chamber and his voice grew cold. You will see. Patience is not weakness, and humans have more patience than we do. They can wait. They can hide. And when they strike, it will be devastating. On the edges of human space, fleets moved quietly. No lights, no announcements. Only small teams of humans traveled between stations, checking systems, repairing weapons, and ensuring everything was ready. Commander Nora Blake oversaw these operations. She was young, but she had the sharp mind and courage needed for leadership. She understood the weight of the moment. We will not start wars, she said to her officers. We will not act recklessly, but we will be ready. When the time comes, we will show the galaxy what happens when humans are betrayed. Ethan Cole reported to Nora. He had traveled secretly to human command centers carrying information from the Empire. He told her everything he had learned about the Empire's plans and fears. They do not understand us, Ethan said. They think we are weak. They believe we will wait and do nothing, but they do not know human history. They do not know what we can do. Nora nodded. Then we wait, she said. Carefully, patiently, and when we act, there will be no mistake. Back on Erebos Prime, life continued as if nothing had happened. Markets were full, schools operated, and transport ships moved through orbit. But there were signs of worry in the Empire's citizens. Soldiers were restless. Security forces were on higher alert. Alien delegates whispered that humans might respond. Most, however, believed the humans were bluffing. Ethan Cole knew better. He had seen how humans had survived past wars. They had been underestimated before, and they had always returned stronger. He understood that the silence of humans was not fear, it was preparation. In secret human stations, engineers worked day and night. They repaired old ships, tested weapons, and activated defensive shields. Communication networks connected every human fleet and station. Artificial intelligence systems that had been dormant for centuries were reactivated. Humans relied on machines for speed and accuracy, but the decision to strike would always be human. In one station, Ethan walked through the command center. Hundreds of humans were at their posts, monitoring data, checking coordinates, and analyzing signals from the Empire. Every human there knew the story of General Kane. They remembered her courage and her death. It inspired them. They were calm, but inside, their minds were sharp. They will regret this, Ethan said quietly, thinking of the Empire. They have no idea what is coming. Meanwhile, in the Empire, fear began to grow. Reports came in from distant planets. Human outposts were disappearing. Colonies that had been busy trading with alien species were now silent. Ships that had been docking and leaving spaceports were no longer there. The Empire tried to dismiss it. They said rebels or natural disasters were the cause, but more and more planets went dark. News spread slowly, and panic began to rise in some sectors. Leaders argued about what this meant, but no one realized the full scale of human preparation. Ethan Cole studied the reports. "They think we are leaving," he said. "They think humans are retreating. But it is not retreat, it is strategy. They are gathering strength, waiting for the right moment." In deep space, human fleets moved with precision. Ships followed exact paths, keeping communications silent except between command centers. Old weapons systems, thought to be lost or destroyed, were brought online. These systems were not just weapons, they were reminders of human ingenuity and resilience. Commander Nora Blake walked among her officers. She was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "We do not attack without reason," she said. "We do not act out of anger. We act to protect our people and to honor General Kane. She gave her life for peace. We will act with wisdom, but we will act decisively." Back on Erebos Prime, Admiral Korak warned the Council again. "You have made a mistake," he said. "They are not weak. They have always been patient, and now they are preparing. When humans move, the galaxy will see a power they have never seen before." Many ignored him. Some laughed. Others argued. But Korak's warning lingered in secret minds. Not everyone in the Empire believed they were safe. Captain Ethan Cole continued to work secretly. He monitored fleet movements, studied communications, and ensured that human plans remained hidden. Every time he saw a report from the Empire about missing colonies, he felt a mixture of fear and hope. Humans were moving slowly and silently toward their destiny. In quiet moments, Ethan thought of General Kane. He remembered her words. Humans never forgive betrayal. She had died in the council chamber, but her spirit lived in every human preparing in secret. They were not motivated by anger alone. They were motivated by justice and memory. Across human space, the old defense networks hummed steadily. Weapons were calibrated, shields were tested, and artificial intelligence systems were ready. Humans had prepared for centuries for the day when betrayal might come again. That day was approaching. In the Empire, some began to realize their mistake. Colonies went silent, trade slowed, and fleets reported strange sightings at the edges of known space. They did not yet know it was humans. They only saw the results. And they feared the unknown. Ethan watched the reports and thought of the coming storm. The humans were patient. They had learned from history. And when they moved, it would be precise and unstoppable. Commander Nora Blake prepared a message to be sent across the galaxy when the time was right. She did not write words of war. She wrote words of warning. We do not forget. We do not forgive betrayal lightly. The galaxy will remember what happens when humans are wronged. As the days passed, humans continued to prepare quietly. They did not strike. They did not announce their plans. They only made sure they were ready. The Empire continued to underestimate them. They believed the humans were weak and passive, but humans are not weak. They are patient, clever, and determined, and they never forget. Captain Ethan Cole looked out at the stars from a hidden station near the edge of human space. He could see distant planets, alien fleets, and silent systems. Everything was in place. Humans were ready. They waited, carefully and silently, for the moment to remind the galaxy why betrayal of humanity is a dangerous choice. And far away on Erebos Prime, no one knew what was coming. Life went on. People laughed, traded, and worked. They did not see the silent forces gathering in space, ready to respond. They did not know the humans were preparing a storm unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Ethan whispered to himself, thinking of General Kane. They will see. They will remember. And we will honor her. The galaxy held its breath, unaware of the power quietly awakening at its edges. Humans had chosen silence for now, but the silence was not weakness. It was preparation. And when they acted, the Empire would learn the truth of human patience, ingenuity, and strength. The stars burned quietly, oblivious to the coming reckoning. Humans moved among them, patient and careful, preparing for the moment when betrayal would no longer be tolerated. Months had passed since General Laura Kane had fallen. The Galactic Empire continued its life as usual, though shadows of doubt had begun to creep into the minds of some leaders. Most, however, still believed humans were weak and patient because of 9 centuries of peace. They thought humans would never act. They were wrong. At the edge of known space, hidden among asteroids and dead planets, human fleets were moving. Ships that had been silent for centuries hummed with energy. Shields flickered on. Weapon systems warmed. Artificial intelligence managed logistics, navigation, and targeting. Humans moved quietly, deliberately, with precision that had been practiced for generations. Commander Nora Blake walked the bridge of the lead ship, the Resolute Dawn. Her uniform was simple, but her eyes burned with determination. She had led hundreds of missions before, but this one was different. It was not just a battle. It was the response to a betrayal so great that it demanded attention. "Status report," she said. "All systems are ready, Commander," said Lieutenant Sam Bennett. He was young but skilled, loyal, and completely focused. "Shields at maximum. Weapons calibrated. Communication secure." "Good," Nora said. "We wait for the signal. Remember, we do not attack unless we are ready and sure. Our goal is precision, not destruction without purpose." Across the galaxy, the Empire remained unaware of the scale of human preparations. Colonies that had long traded with alien species now sat empty. Human trade fleets were gone. Outposts vanished. Fleet reports that came into the Imperial Senate were incomplete, scattered, and frightening. Captain Ethan Cole monitored these reports in secret. He had been stationed near the outer edge of human-controlled space, watching the Empire carefully. Every time he received a message about a missing planet or silent colony, he felt a mixture of fear and pride. Humans were not hiding because they were afraid. They were hiding because they were preparing. The first strike came quietly, almost unnoticed. A small communication hub on the planet Varnock, a minor Imperial world, suddenly went dark. Sensors picked up no life signals. Supply ships traveling through the sector reported strange interference and vanished without a trace. The Empire thought it was a technical malfunction. It was not. Ethan watched the reports with interest. "This is only the beginning," he whispered. "The humans are making their move. Not yet openly, but the message is clear. They are everywhere, and we cannot see them all." Far from the center of the galaxy, the main human armada waited. Ships that had once been museum pieces, relics of old wars, now formed a powerful and coordinated fleet. Human AI guided the smaller vessels, allowing crews to focus on strategy and decision-making. This fleet was not built for panic. It was built for precision and control. Nora Blake addressed her officers. "We move carefully," she said. "Our first targets are not cities or populations. We target communications, supply routes, and military outposts. Our goal is to remind the Empire of the consequences of betrayal, not to destroy for anger's sake. We honor General Kane by acting with wisdom." The first attack was swift and surgical. Human ships emerged from hidden warp points near Imperial border planets. Communications arrays were disabled in seconds. Fuel depots exploded in precise patterns. Orbital defense stations were neutralized without harming the civilian populations below. The humans made sure that the message was clear. The Empire had been betrayed, and humans were no longer willing to wait. On Arivos Prime, alarms rang. The Council scrambled its fleets, but most ships were already too far away to respond immediately. Reports were conflicting. Some claimed rebels had attacked. Others believed natural disasters had struck. Panic began to spread, though many leaders refused to believe the humans were responsible. Admiral Korak, however, was not surprised. He had warned the Council that humans were patient but dangerous. "This is what I feared," he said, his sharp eyes scanning the reports. "They have awakened the old systems. They are precise. They do not strike blindly. They are everywhere and nowhere at once." Inside human stations, operators monitored every Imperial reaction. The humans did not celebrate the attacks. They were calm and professional. Every move had been calculated, every action measured. They did not need chaos to act. They needed accuracy, and every strike showed it. Captain Ethan Cole walked along the corridors of the command station. He remembered the chamber where General Kane had died. Her sacrifice had been the spark for all this preparation. He looked at the young officers working tirelessly at their consoles and saw the same determination he had seen in Kane. Humans would never forgive betrayal. They would never forget. And now, they were acting. As the humans struck at key systems across the Imperial borders, fleets of alien ships were sent to investigate. They found nothing at first, only empty stations, disabled communications, and strange interference patterns they could not explain. Every report they sent back was delayed, scrambled, or misinterpreted. The Empire believed it had time to respond. It did not. In the hidden armada, Nora Blake watched the sensors. "They are coming," she said quietly. "But they are blind to us. Let them remain blind for now. The moment we are seen, we lose the advantage. Patience is our weapon as much as firepower." Captain Ethan Cole reported findings from Imperial communications. "They do not know it is us," he said. "They think it is random. They will realize too late. They have underestimated humanity for centuries, and they are about to learn the cost of that mistake." In the Empire's capital, panic began to take hold. Senators argued endlessly, trying to find the source of the attacks. Some feared that the humans had returned in force. Others refused to accept it. "They are weak," they said. "They cannot strike such distant systems so quickly." Admiral Korak shook his head. "You are blind," he said. "You have forgotten history. Humans do not need to be seen to strike. They act from preparation, patience, and intelligence. They wait for the perfect moment. And now the perfect moment is coming." Meanwhile, humans continued their operations. Supply chains were disrupted. Communication networks across the border planets were disabled. Imperial scouts were captured quietly and interrogated. Their reports were sent back to the humans. Every piece of information allowed the human fleet to refine their strategy. They did not waste resources. They did not act recklessly. Every move was deliberate. Ethan Cole walked into the central operations room. He watched the screens filled with sensor data, maps, and fleet positions. He felt a sense of awe. Humans were not just strong. They were disciplined, patient, and precise. And they remembered. Every missing outpost, every silent station was a reminder of what happens when humans are betrayed. On Arivos Prime, news began to leak. The citizens were confused. Reports of missing colonies reached their screens, but they were incomplete and contradictory. Fear began to spread among the population. Some began to prepare shelters and defenses. Others simply ignored the warnings. The Empire tried to maintain control, but humans had already moved beyond their reach. Nora Blake issued new orders. "The next phase begins," she said. "We continue to disable the Empire's ability to respond. Their fleets are scattered. Their communication is weak. We strike where it counts, and we show the galaxy that betrayal of humans carries consequences that cannot be ignored." Captain Ethan Cole transmitted information back to human stations across the galaxy. Every officer and crew member received it simultaneously. Humans acted as one, coordinated and efficient. They were not led by anger. They were led by purpose, honor, and memory of their fallen general. In secret conversations, alien senators began to realize the scale of the threat. Some remembered history, tales of human cunning and strength. Others still believed it was exaggerated. Admiral Korak, however, knew. He understood that the humans had learned from centuries of war and peace. They were patient, disciplined, and dangerous. In the outer sectors, human ships continued their careful strikes. Each action sent a message. "We are here. We remember." Betrayal has consequences. The Empire scrambled to respond, but their fleets were too slow, too uncoordinated. Humans had anticipated every move. Captain Ethan Cole looked at the stars from his station. He thought of General Kane. Her courage, her sacrifice had ignited this chain of events. Humans were patient, but they were not passive. And now the first wave of response had begun. The galaxy would never forget it. Commander Nora Blake stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn. She watched the screens, the fleet positions, and the sensor readings. Calmly, she said to herself, "This is only the beginning. We honor General Kane, we remind the galaxy. We act with wisdom and precision, and they will learn the cost of betrayal." For the first time in centuries, the Empire felt fear. They did not yet know the full scale of human preparation. They only saw the results. Missing outposts, disabled communications, and ships that seemed to vanish into thin space. Captain Ethan Cole whispered to himself, watching the reports. They will never forget what happens when humans are betrayed. In the darkness of space, the human fleet waited for the perfect moment to strike further. Every ship was ready, every weapon calibrated, every system checked. They were patient, careful, and deadly. They did not attack blindly. They acted with purpose. And in the Galactic Empire, panic began to spread. Some knew it was only a matter of time before humanity fully revealed its power. The galaxy was changing, though many did not yet see it. The Empire's borders were in chaos. Border worlds went silent, communications failed, and fleets that had once been proud were scattered. The humans moved with precision, striking key systems but never harming civilians unnecessarily. Their message was clear. Betrayal would not go unanswered. On Arivos Prime, panic had begun to spread. Senators argued endlessly, trying to find someone to blame. Some demanded retaliation against humans. Others called for calm and investigation. But the reports from distant colonies were alarming. Entire planets were cut off, stations disabled, and supply chains destroyed. Admiral Korak moved quickly. "This is the moment I feared," he said. "Humans have awakened. They are precise, patient, and coordinated, and they have begun to dismantle our power piece by piece." In secret, Captain Ethan Cole worked tirelessly. He had access to Imperial communications and fleet data. He knew that the humans were striking with intelligence and strategy. Every Imperial response had been anticipated. The humans did not attack recklessly. They acted with calculation. "They are everywhere," Ethan said quietly, "and we cannot see them all. The Empire has grown blind with arrogance, and now it will pay the price." Commander Nora Blake led the human armada with calm determination. The first wave had been successful, and now the second wave was prepared. This time the strikes would focus on military installations, leadership hubs, and communication centers. Civilian areas were avoided, but the Empire's power would be broken. "Ensure every action is precise," Nora said to her officers. "We do not destroy for anger. We destroy to remove the ability to strike at our people. The Empire must understand that betrayal has consequences." Ethan Cole observed the attacks unfolding on the screens. Human ships moved like shadows through space, appearing only where they needed to strike. Each operation was swift, decisive, and effective. The Empire struggled to respond, but their fleets were slow, disorganized, and unprepared. The first major target was the military hub of Varnock Prime. Humans struck in silence, disabling the planet's defense systems and destroying strategic command centers. The Empire's fleet arrived too late to prevent it. They tried to fight, but human weapons and shields were superior. Ships that had once been symbols of Imperial pride were destroyed or disabled within hours. Ethan watched, his heart steady. Humans were not acting out of rage. They were acting out of purpose and memory. General Kane's sacrifice had set this in motion, and humans were honoring her with every calculated move. The second target was the communication network linking the Empire's fleets. The humans struck satellites, relay stations, and data hubs. Messages could no longer pass between planets. Fleets were left blind, unable to coordinate. Panic spread among Imperial commanders. On Arivos Prime, the Council tried to hold control, but it was failing. Senators argued about whether to evacuate leaders or attempt diplomacy. Some realized that their power was gone. Others still clung to denial. Admiral Korak moved quickly to protect key leaders and fleets. "We must adapt," he said. "Humans are not acting randomly. They are precise. We must find them before they find us, but I fear it may be too late." Ethan Cole continued to monitor communications. He discovered evidence that some senators had secretly conspired to assassinate General Kane before the attack. They had wanted to reignite war for personal gain. Their plans were exposed when humans captured encrypted Imperial transmissions. Nora Blake ordered the next strike based on this information. The conspirators' planets were targeted, but again, civilians were unharmed. Military installations and command centers were destroyed. The message was clear. Betrayal of humanity would no longer be tolerated. Imperial leaders were shocked. They had underestimated humans for centuries, believing 900 years of peace had made them passive. They had been wrong. The humans were patient, disciplined, and now fully unleashed. Across the galaxy, rebellions began. Alien populations oppressed by the Empire saw the humans' actions and were inspired. Some planetary governors turned against the central government. Soldiers refused orders, unwilling to fight a power they no longer trusted. Admiral Korak warned the Council again. "The Empire is collapsing from within," he said. "Our fleets are disabled. Our communications are gone. Our people are rebelling, and the humans have not even reached their full strength." Ethan Cole studied the reports of rebellion. He knew humans had predicted this. They had anticipated that fear and awe would spread, that the Empire would crumble under its own arrogance. Every strike had been part of a larger plan. Humans were not just fighting the Empire, they were dismantling it piece by piece. Nora Blake prepared the third wave of attacks. This time the focus was on leadership hubs and the Imperial Senate. Humans struck quickly and efficiently. Command centers were destroyed, secure communications severed, and key leaders were captured or neutralized. Chaos spread like wildfire. The Council on Arivos Prime could no longer maintain control. Some senators fled to distant systems. Others tried to negotiate, but no one knew who spoke with authority anymore. The Empire, which had lasted for thousands of years, was breaking apart. Ethan Cole watched as Imperial fleets tried to regroup. Ships moved aimlessly, communication broken. The humans anticipated every move, cutting off escape routes and isolating key forces. The Empire had never faced a foe so patient and so precise. In the human armada, crews remained calm. They did not celebrate destruction. They did not seek revenge. Every action was part of a strategy to restore balance, protect human populations, and honor the memory of General Kane. Nora Blake gave orders for the final strike on the Empire's capital. The human fleets approached Arivos Prime, moving through hidden warp points and avoiding detection until the last moment. Every system, every sensor had been mapped and studied. Humans were ready. Ethan Cole prepared to report the final steps to the Human Council. "This is the moment," he said. "The Empire will see the full consequences of betrayal. They have underestimated us for centuries, and now they will understand." As the fleets arrived in orbit above Arivos Prime, humans began the final operation. Defense satellites were neutralized. Orbital weapons were disabled. Ground command centers were struck with precision. The Empire could not respond effectively. Panic swept through the capital. The Senate was in chaos. Leaders fled, but nowhere was safe. Humans had anticipated every move. The Empire's arrogance had blinded them, and now they faced the full force of human preparation. In the final moments of the operation, Admiral Korak tried one last desperate plan. He ordered the remaining fleet to engage the human armada directly. But it was too late. Human weapons and shields were superior. Imperial ships were destroyed or captured. Resistance collapsed. Captain Ethan Cole watched from the command station. He felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. Humans had won, but the cost had been great. General Kane's death had started this chain of events, and now her vision was realized. On the ground, civilians watched as the Empire's power crumbled. Some could not believe what was happening. Others realized that the humans had returned, patient, precise, and unstoppable. The galaxy would never forget this moment. Commander Nora Blake transmitted a message to the remaining leaders of the Empire. "You killed peace," she said. "You betrayed our trust. Now the stars will remember why humanity does not forgive betrayal." Ethan Cole reflected on the events. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, but they had not forgotten history. They had acted with strategy, patience, and precision. The Empire had fallen because it had failed to respect humans, and the galaxy would never see such arrogance again. As the human armada withdrew, the Empire's leaders began to realize the scale of their defeat. Communications were restored, but too late. The central government had collapsed. Key planets were under human control. Imperial fleets were scattered. The galaxy had changed forever. In the aftermath, humans did not celebrate. They rebuilt systems, restored order, and ensured the safety of civilians. They had not acted out of anger. They had acted out of justice, honor, and memory of the general who had fallen to betrayal. Ethan Cole walked through the command station. He looked at the young officers and crews who had carried out the operation. They were calm, disciplined, and ready for the next step. Humans had proven their strength, but they would not abuse it. Their purpose had been fulfilled. The Empire had learned the cost of betrayal. On Arivos Prime, the ruins of the Senate stood as a reminder. The Empire that had ruled for thousands of years was gone. In its place, humans had left a clear message. Betrayal would not be tolerated, and patience should not be mistaken for weakness. Nora Blake and Ethan Cole looked at the stars from the bridge of the Resolute Dawn. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy must remember. Humanity has returned, and they will not forget betrayal." Ethan nodded. "General Kane would be proud," he said softly. "We honored her. We acted with precision, and the galaxy knows the truth. In the silence of space, human fleets withdrew to hidden positions. They had demonstrated their strength, but they had not sought unnecessary destruction. Their message had been clear. The betrayal of humans carries consequences that cannot be ignored. The galaxy was quiet now, but it was a different quiet. The empire that had ruled for thousands of years was gone. Its fleets destroyed or scattered, its leaders either captured or in hiding, and its colonies freed from oppression. Humans did not celebrate in triumph. They moved with calm purpose, ensuring order and safety across the systems they had liberated. Commander Nora Blake stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, looking at the stars. The human fleet remained hidden in strategic positions, ready to respond if needed. Their weapons were powerful, their systems advanced, but humanity had no desire for needless destruction. They acted with precision and honor, honoring the memory of General Laura Kane, whose death had ignited this wave of action. Captain Ethan Cole joined her. "It is done," he said quietly. "The Empire is gone. Rebellions are successful. Communications are restored. Order will return," Nora nodded. "Yes, but the galaxy must learn the lesson. Betrayal has consequences. Humans have patience, but they do not forget. And now everyone knows it." Across the liberated worlds, alien populations slowly began to rebuild. Trade resumed. Communication networks were restored under human supervision to ensure fairness and safety. Colonies that had lived under the Empire's oppression finally tasted freedom. Many looked to humans with respect, awe, and gratitude. In the hidden command stations, human officers coordinated relief efforts. They provided resources, restored essential services, and offered protection to populations that had suffered for centuries under Imperial rule. They acted not as conquerors, but as guardians. Ethan Cole walked among the officers, proud of their discipline and dedication. "We acted for justice," he said to himself. "Not for revenge." General Kane would be proud. Humanity has honored her. The first task was to establish a new council. Humans wanted to ensure that no single power could dominate the galaxy as the Empire had. Representatives from freed colonies, neutral systems, and humans themselves were invited to join. The council was designed to maintain peace, fairness, and cooperation. Commander Nora Blake addressed the first meeting of the new council. "We have acted to restore balance," she said. "The empire that betrayed peace is gone. Now we build a galaxy where no species is oppressed and no betrayal goes unremembered. Humans do not act lightly, but we act with honor and purpose." Across the council chamber, delegates from various worlds listened carefully. Some were still wary of humans, but they could not deny the discipline, strategy, and restraint shown in the recent campaign. Humans had proven they were strong, patient, and intelligent. Captain Ethan Cole continued to monitor communications across the galaxy. He noted that Imperial remnants were scattered and disorganized. Some fleets had attempted to regroup, but without central leadership they could not pose a serious threat. Human fleets remained in strategic positions, ready to intervene if any attempts at tyranny arose again. On Earth, humans held memorials for General Laura Kane. Her uniform, medals, and personal items were displayed, reminding all generations why patience, courage, and honor mattered. Schools, fleets, and families told the story of the general who had been betrayed but whose death sparked a wave of justice that reshaped the galaxy. Young officers in the human fleet studied the battles that had taken place. They learned that strength without patience is useless, but patience without action can also fail. Humanity's greatest victory was not destruction. It was preparation, discipline, and wisdom. Across liberated worlds, some aliens struggled to accept human authority. They had never been under guidance that was not violent or oppressive. Humans did not force control. They offered protection, fairness, and strategic oversight. Slowly, respect grew. Humans had shown that they could wield power without cruelty, that they could enforce justice without oppression. Ethan Cole visited several colonies personally. He spoke with local leaders, helped organize resources, and ensured that communications were working properly. Everywhere he went, he saw hope. The galaxy, once dominated by fear of the Empire, now looked to humans for guidance. Commander Nora Blake received reports from former Imperial officers who wished to surrender and cooperate. Humans considered each case carefully. Some were forgiven and integrated into the new council. Others, who had committed atrocities, were held accountable. Justice was firm but measured. The Empire tried to betray us, Nora said to Ethan during a quiet moment. They thought we would wait, that we would forgive. They were wrong, but we did not destroy everything in anger. We acted with precision, honor, and purpose. That is the difference, Ethan nodded. Humanity never forgets, but we also do not seek revenge without reason. We protect, we honor, and we prepare. That is why the galaxy has changed. In the months that followed, human fleets patrolled key regions, ensuring that no remnants of the Empire could rebuild. Communication networks connected worlds in safety and fairness. Trade routes reopened. Colonies that had lived in fear now experienced security and prosperity. Delegates of the new council gathered regularly to discuss issues, resolve disputes, and plan the future. Humans acted as facilitators, ensuring cooperation rather than dominance. Their strategy had been clear. Power used responsibly earns respect, while betrayal earns consequences. Captain Ethan Cole reflected on the journey that had begun with General Kane's death. He remembered the council chamber, the explosion, and her final words. Humanity had honored her memory. They had acted with patience, intelligence, and discipline. And the galaxy had learned the cost of betrayal. Commander Nora Blake stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn one final time. She watched planets, stars, and fleets. The galaxy is at peace, she said softly. For now. But humanity has shown that peace is protected by preparation, strength, and honor. Betrayal is never forgotten. Ethan Cole joined her. The council will ensure fairness, he said. The Empire's power is gone and the galaxy can rebuild. But the lesson remains. Humans are patient, but when betrayed, they are unstoppable. In secret, humans continued to maintain hidden fleets and stations. Not for aggression, but for preparedness. They had learned that peace can be fragile and vigilance ensures survival. Humanity would always be ready to protect itself and the galaxy from tyranny. On liberated planets, children learned the story of General Kane and the humans who had acted to restore justice. They were taught patience, courage, and honor. They understood that strength without wisdom is dangerous, and wisdom without action is meaningless. Ethan Cole walked among the new council, ensuring stability and observing progress. He could see the difference humans had made. Planets once oppressed now flourished. Rebellion had turned into cooperation. The galaxy was no longer ruled by fear, but by balance. Commander Nora Blake met with representatives from former Imperial colonies. They discussed laws, trade, and shared defense systems. Humans did not dominate. They guided, protected, and respected. Slowly, the galaxy began to trust again. Human fleets gradually returned to hidden stations, maintaining readiness without showing dominance. The message had been delivered. Betrayal had consequences, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. Captain Ethan Cole watched the stars from a quiet station near Earth. He thought of General Kane. Her courage had sparked everything. Her sacrifice had reminded humanity of the importance of honor, patience, and preparation. And the galaxy had changed forever because of it. Commander Nora Blake joined him. The humans have done more than win battles, she said. We have restored balance. We have protected the innocent. We have shown the galaxy that strength must be paired with honor and wisdom. Ethan nodded. Yes, and the lesson will last for generations. Humanity never forgets betrayal, but we act with purpose, not anger. That is why we endure. Across the galaxy, life slowly returned to normal. Former Imperial worlds rebuilt, colonies traded, and communication networks connected systems in safety. Humans remained vigilant, ready to respond if needed. But for now, peace reigned. In schools, ships, and colonies, humans shared the story of patience, preparation, and justice. They taught that betrayal is never without consequences and that honor, courage, and wisdom can reshape the galaxy. Commander Nora Blake and Captain Ethan Cole stood together one final time, looking at the stars. The galaxy is safe, Nora said. For now, Ethan smiled. Yes, but humans are always ready. The Empire has fallen. The galaxy is free and humanity has proven its strength. Patience, courage, and honor guide us. Betrayal will never be forgotten. And in the quiet of space, humans waited. They had acted with wisdom, precision, and honor. The galaxy had learned the cost of betrayal. Humanity had returned, patient, strong, and unstoppable. The stars shone brightly above, silent witnesses to the triumph of humanity. The Empire was gone, but its lessons remained. And the galaxy would remember forever the humans who never forgave betrayal, who acted with purpose and who restored justice across the stars. Peace returned, but humanity's vigilance remained. They would protect the galaxy, honor the memory of those who had fallen, and ensure that betrayal was never repeated. The legacy of General Laura Kane had become the guiding principle of a new era. The humans had shown the galaxy that patience, wisdom, and strength could change the course of history.